¿Qué tal? Soy Ray con Conciertos Perú. Estamos acá entrevistando a Derwin de Gold Panda. Derwin, so you got here like a week ago, and you've just been chilling. You came here with your family, just for vacations, and decided to throw a concert, right?
Yeah.
How did that go about?
Well, actually, my girlfriend's half Peruvian, so yeah, we came over to visit family, and she knew some people who worked in kind of promoting music and concerts and stuff and doing quite interesting stuff in Lima, and they asked me if I wanted to play a show, and I said yes, and then yeah, that was it really.
So do you normally do that kind of stuff?
Not really, like maybe now and again, but I mean, I don't think I would get the chance to play otherwise. So.
Have you played in South America before?
I've played in Sao Paulo, but that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have like any expectations about how the concert is gonna go this time?
None at all, really. I don't know. It's nothing to do with the city or anything. You can never judge how it's gonna be before you actually play. It's impossible. You can be somewhere and yeah, I've learnt to not have any expectations whatsoever. But it'll be good. It'll be good.
Sweet. So you've got to travel around Lima so far a little bit. Have you gotten to know any like Peruvian music so far? Any local bands that you might have liked?
Yeah. Well, maybe. I don't know yet. We got to travel around and did some record shopping today.
You went to Kilka, right?
Yeah. And so I bought some records. I have no idea what they are, but they had good covers.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. And that's usually a good way to buy music because you spend money on stuff you normally wouldn't. So, yeah.
You like judging albums by their cover or something?
Yeah. Sometimes if it's got a really bad cover as well, I buy it. But yeah, there was no way to check the music, and I don't know what they are. So sometimes it's good to look at dates and stuff, and then you can kind of guess. You know, if it's going to be 80s, then it's probably going to have a synthesizer in it.
When you go album shopping, do you use that kind of like? Do you sample a lot from the records you buy?
Depends. Sometimes if I like a record so much, then I won't sample it because I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can find one really good sound on a really bad record. So yeah, I don't sample everything, and usually up to a certain date, like the 80s. Anything before that is usually sounds good.
Cool. I was reading your Wikipedia page, and it said you lived in Japan.
Yeah.
You mentioned that before too, and it also said you studied in the School of Oriental and African Studies.
Yeah.
So, like by listening to your music, there's a lot of ethnicity in it. I find, like for example, Same Dream China and Greek style. Do you find like international culture as a big influence in your work?
I think it started. I mean, there's a couple of reasons, but the main one was trying to find records to sample that maybe other people weren't sampling, because I came from. I used to make hip hop with a bunch of friends, and they used to buy these records to make hip hop with, and then the records they were buying were really expensive because other record sellers knew what they were worth and so. So I started off going record shopping, just buying stuff in like really cheap stuff that was kind of everywhere, and I kind of singled, you know, you get to know the stuff that's everywhere and go, okay, you don't really want that, it's not very good. And then, but I always bought stuff that would be classed as world music or ethnic music or whatever, and it always had interesting sounds. So I guess the main reason is that I was sampling those kind of records, and those sounds were a bit more interesting to me than other ones.
About that, like some of your music sounds like really kind of ambient music you can just listen to, you know, while walking or laying down. But I remember seeing you in concert last year, and it was just like party hell, like people going bananas everywhere.
Yeah.
So how do you go from like, do you have any kind of technique, or is it any kind of conscious process in which you think
think it's just because it's louder. I think it's just because it's really loud, so it sounds more aggressive. But yeah, I think live some of the sounds are different, and it's just there's a lot of noise in there as well, and it's different every time because I can mess with the arrangement, and I'm doing it as live as possible. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, I want it to be different live than it is on the record, to a point, and I think that's something I want to explore in the future as well.
How do you go about that?
It's more like, you go about it.
That's cool. Well, you've traveled, you've played around the world so far, and I really wanted to ask you, like, if you find any differences in the kind of audiences you encounter, like different cultures or geographical places.
Yes. They're all pretty different actually. North America is, people go a bit more wild, and especially on the West Coast, they're a bit more crazy. And then, you know, like some big cities where there's some kind of trend, say New York or London, you know, where everyone goes to play. People are used to, they've seen everything, you know, and they're kind of a bit cool, and so they're kind of a bit more reserved. But people in smaller places, or maybe places where people don't get to play so often, maybe they're a bit more excitable and crazy, I think. Yeah, that can happen.
Based on that, I'd say the concert this Saturday is going to be pretty fucking crazy.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be crazy to make it a good show. And sometimes you can't judge. I just remember something that an old teacher of mine used to say when I was at school ages ago, was that you can never judge the crowd. Like, someone could be yawning, but it doesn't mean they're bored.
Yeah.
So, and I've been to plenty of concerts as well where I'm yawning or something. It's just because I'm tired, but it doesn't mean I'm not enjoying the show. So, you know, and I'm not a person to go crazy at a show. So.
What kind of concerts do you like going to?
I don't really. Since I've been making music, or doing music and playing shows in venues, I've tended to avoid going more. But then I've seen more shows because I've been at festivals and stuff more often. So I've been very lucky to see a lot of stuff. So I think I've made the effort to go to less, but I've seen more, if that makes sense.
Is it like a really different experience seeing a show kind of from the backstage than?
Yeah, it's not really good from the back, because everything's quiet and there's no atmosphere really. So it's better if you're going to see someone, you can watch from the backstage because, you know, it's quite interesting to see what they're doing and everything. But if you go out the front, then it makes no sense.
You were telling me before, like last year you got to tour around Southeast Asia, Korea, Japan, Philippines, and China. How was your experience in China? I really wanted to know.
China was, I can't really gauge it properly because it was 2 shows. We were there for those 2 days, and they were both festival shows. But at one show they had a line of police officers at the front of the stage, so that no one could get onto the stage. Not that anyone would anyway, I don't think. And then halfway through the set of the person that was after, Mount Kimby played after me.
Who?
Mount Kimby. They played after me? They played after me.
So what happened?
I think the police officers, their shift was over, and they all looked at each other and someone said, shift's over, and they just left. So everyone could have gone on stage anyway. So, but it seemed like it was very like controlled, and I don't know, it was a bit different.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that was maybe just because it was a festival.
How's the crowd reacting to that?
Oh, they were cool. Yeah, they were dancing a lot. I think they were annoyed that there was like a
Police
row
line.
of, yeah,
Definitely. Did you play Same Dream China there?
I don't remember. I might have done. I don't think so. I don't remember, to be honest. Yeah.
Sweet. Kind of running out of questions.
Oh, that's cool. But you lived in Korea.
I lived in Korea, yeah, last year. So that's where I got to see your show. I was pretty excited about it too. Like,
yeah, they were pretty wild at that show.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
So yeah, I mean, the first time you go somewhere tends to be the best.
Oh, really?
Well, in my experience, but I've only got one album's worth of stuff to play, so you know, if the same people come to the show next time, they're like, well, I've seen this already. So I guess like the first time I go there for me is the best time. Kind of to go back. If you don't have the same experience as the first time, or it's not better, then you're a little bit disappointed, maybe.
How do you feel about playing back home in England?
I hate it. I don't hate it. It's just that's England, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy some of the shows, some I don't. I just like it.
What kind of bands are you listening to lately?
I've been listening to an album by this. I think it's one guy, but I'm not sure because I haven't researched it. It's what's it called? Well, the artist's name is Eerie Moon.
Eerie Moon.
But I think it's Clear something is the album title. It's pretty good. And an album by a guy called Jam City, which is on Night Slugs. I think he's quite young, but I think the album's really, really good.
Have to check that out.
Yeah.
Luke Abbott.
Oh, Luke Abbott. I started a label a while back to release my own stuff. It's called No Town, and we just put out a record by a guy called Luke Abbott, who's also releasing music on Border Community. He just put a 12-inch vinyl out, digital release, and it's called Modern Driveway. And yeah,
Gonna have to check that out.
yeah, so it's really good.
So you started your career doing remixes mostly, right?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, kind of. Yeah.
But like, I wanted to know actually, like, what was your relationship with the musicians you were remixing? Is there any communication, or you just go about your stuff?
It depends. I think. But the first thing I did was set up a MySpace page, and this was in a time when
MySpace existed.
when MySpace existed, and it was actually good, and people were getting signed just from having a MySpace page, you know, like Crystal Castles, I think.
Oh, really?
And yeah, so I just put some tracks up there, and then I got some remix offers, and it's a way to get your name about, and if you can earn money from your hobby or what you enjoy doing, then why not, you know? So some artists, you know, someone at the label might request a remix, and you state an amount, and you do the remix, and if they like it, you get paid, and you never have anything to do with the artist, or know if they even like it, or if they even wanted you to remix them. And other times, someone will ask you and say, hey, the artist really wants you to do it, and sometimes the artist will ask you directly.
Cool.
And you'll meet them. And you kind of do the remixes, you meet people with a lot of people on your level. I mean, it's changed now because of the internet, people can just send you a tweet or something, you know.
Did you ever get to remix someone that like you really admired or something?
I got to do The Field, I got to do Caribou. Yeah, just friends whose music I really liked. Did Luke Abbott recently. Yeah, it's great.
Sweet. Well, when did you start making music? Like, you studied in the School of Oriental and African Studies.
Yeah, but I just did. Actually, I didn't like graduate from there. I just did a diploma in Japanese. So yeah, I did study there. I mean, that's true, but I didn't. I've never studied music, so I just started making music when I was 15. My uncle gave me an Akai sampler and an Atari computer. I just started sampling my dad's records, which were all rock and roll, so it was really hard to get decent stuff.
did your experience living in Japan, do you feel like it influenced the style of music you make?
Oh yeah, totally. I don't think it influenced me in a, well, maybe it did. Yeah, it did. Yeah, yeah, totally.
Any favorite bands from Japan?
Yeah, there's a rap group called Origami, but not. It doesn't actually mean paper folding, because the characters, how you write origami, mean falling gods.
Oh.
But they had a couple of good albums that were really awesome. And there's a Boredoms. Do you know Boredoms?
I think, yeah.
Like quite a weird Japanese group, been around for ages.
Cool. We're gonna have to put like links.
Yeah.
That'll be kind of sweet. So I guess we should like wrap it up.
Yeah.
And well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in concert this Saturday.
Yeah.
It's great having you in Peru. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks.